Hello, I'm Aubrey Webb,
And I'm Avery Ochoa.
and we're very excited to present to y'all our documentary, A Pilot's Life.
This documentary was filmed over the course of 4 days on a Canon 80D and was edited on Premiere Pro over the course of 2 weeks.
We really hope y'all enjoy. Thank you.
2343, turn left, heading 010, runway 15 left, cleared for takeoff, install.
Hi, my name is Bryce Webb, and I have been flying for almost 24 years now. I was hired by Continental Airlines in 1998, and we merged with United Airlines about 8 years ago. I'm now a United Airlines pilot. I fly the Boeing 777. I'm based in Houston, so my trips, they all originate and end in Houston. It's all long-haul flying overseas. I do a lot of flying to Europe, over the Atlantic, and do a lot of flying over to Tokyo as well. Well, I grew up listening to my maternal grandfather. He was a World War II aviator, so I heard a lot of his tales of flying missions in the B-24. And we went to a lot of air shows. I was just always fascinated by aircraft. And I knew that's pretty much all I ever wanted to do. I started flying at an early age. I got my license when I was in high school. I started flying, I believe, when I was 15 and a half, and I got my license on my 17th birthday. I went to college. I went to Texas A&M. I was in the Corps of Cadets, and I had a Marine Corps aviation guarantee. And when I completed my degree at A&M was about the time that Bill Clinton was elected president, and he started slashing military spending, budget cuts. It was just poor timing to get in the military. So at that point, the Marine Corps let us out of our obligation since there were no aviation slots. And I went commercial route, and I was, 21, 22 at the time. I went to a commercial aviation academy and knocked out all my ratings. It was 1992. I went back to West Texas and just did kind of anything I could do to build flight time, because getting to the next level is all about experience and hours. And that took me a couple of years to get, up to, I believe it 1,500 hours, 2,000 hours. And at that point, I got hired by the Fairchild Company in San Antonio. At that point, the aviation industry was very competitive, and you had to have 5,000 hours jet time, turbine time, left seat, pilot and command time to make yourself marketable to the airlines. So I was able to get that in a very short amount of time, flying night freight. It wasn't glamorous, but it was an ends to a means. And I got hired at Continental in 1998. It's been a very, very good career. Typically, being on the 777 and doing all long-haul flying, I've got a pretty nice schedule in the fact that my trips are very productive, they're very long, and I can get a lot more days off than I would if I was flying domestic. So prior to COVID, when our flying was really good and we had a lot of flying, I would do three-day trips a month to Tokyo. That's 21 days off. That's about as good as it gets in the airline industry, which is, at this point, with kids at home, I need to be home, and it's provided me a great quality of life to be home with my family. When I'm gone, I'm gone. I'm 3,000 miles away. But when I'm home, I'm able to devote 100% of my time to my hobbies, my family, and focus on what's important. There have been times, especially when the kids were little, I missed some birthdays. I missed a lot of Christmases. When I was junior, low man on the totem pole, I worked a lot of holidays. Man, that's one thing that's nice about my seniority now. I'm able to get holidays off. One funny story that comes to mind is one day, I believe we were in Vegas, and I think we were probably going to San Francisco. This is when I was flying domestic on the 737. I had just a short amount of time, like 20 minutes between flights. So I ran off the airplane to grab something to eat, and I grabbed a Whopper at Burger King, and as I'm running to get to the cockpit, right there sitting in first class, right in the first row, is the actor Nick Nolte. And he says, "Hey man, did you bring me a burger?" And about the time he said that, he snatched it out of my hand and ate my cheeseburger in front of me. And I was like, "What are you doing, man?" And I was like, "You know what, just let it go," and went in the cockpit. That was that. So that was kind of odd. That was kind of strange. On 9/11, it was a Tuesday morning. I was in Denver. I was in the hotel. I was on a layover. You're supposed to be downstairs at like 10:30 or 11. I was still asleep. The phone started ringing. It was one of my crew members who said, "Turn on the TV right now." Of course, saw the tragic events, and I was watching the TV as the second plane hit the building. Obviously at that point we knew that this wasn't an accident. Our country was under attack. And my wife, Leah, she was on a trip also, so I was concerned. We were obviously concerned about one another, and so finally found her. She was on a layover. She was obviously out of harm's way. So I felt at ease once I was able to speak to her. I knew my dad, he was in the financial district that day in New York City, and it took me several hours to finally find out that he was okay. But yeah, as we watched all those events unfold, I didn't understand the gravity, what impact this was going to have on our country and obviously our airlines. I just remember thinking that day that, man, what a black eye this is going to be for United and American to recover. I didn't realize the gravity that all the airlines were going to suffer due to those attacks that day. I was in Denver, and obviously all the flights were grounded. They finally let us leave on, I think it was a Saturday. They finally let us get out of town and go home. I just remember how tense it was and how odd things were at the airport. We got on the airplane. Dad headed to Houston. We went home, and obviously the impact that day had on the airline industry was profound, as far as our procedures and what we go through now, as far as all the security involved and the procedures of getting in and out of the cockpit, the federalization of the airport security, and just all of the different protocol that we have to go through. Federal air marshals are very prominent, as are armed pilots now. It really turned our country on its head that day. It really did.
30, 20, 10.